Hi, and welcome to today's mini class on 3 tips for higher email open rates. My name is Dana Zifizak, and I am a travel agent educator, and I teach other agents the things I do to build up my business. So let's give everyone a chance to come on. If you are watching this on the replay, welcome, welcome. And I just want to make sure that this is showing. Yep, it should be. Hold on, let me see here. All right, let's just double check here. There it is. Okay, awesome. And then I'm going to just share this in our group. So that way, okay, live now. Come watch. Okay, so let's get started. All right, I'm happy you're here. So, all right, let's go. This is my first mini class of 2026. It only took me 3 weeks, but we're here. All right. So I want you to start with a what if scenario. Okay. What if what you're watching me on right now, social media, what if it just went away? Or what if you lost all your followers? What would happen? What would happen to your business? And this has happened to people. This has happened where people's business pages just got shut down and they lost everybody on there. Okay. Because social media is rented land. Okay. It always is, always has been. Now, granted, it's a great tool. It's a wonderful tool. You're seeing me right now because of social media. Okay. So I am all about making sure that we are representing ourselves on social media. I send you the 3 ideas every week, but where I have seen growth in my business, and when I send out an email, knock on wood, it always generates something. Okay. So I am such an advocate for email marketing because you have your emails. Okay. If you have emails, you can control what you send, where you send, you land right in people's inboxes. The problem with social media is that a bot could take over your channel or your feed or something like that. We don't have control over that. So just think for a second, if you need to reach out to people other than social media, what do you have? Okay. So, and that's why, see, sometimes I just talk ahead of my slides. Your strategy is more than just one thing. Okay. We have social media. I'm having a lot of fun with Reels right now. Okay. And is that generating business? Yes, in a way, it's generating interest. Okay. But interest needs to convert. And in my opinion, conversion happens over email more than social media. That's just what I have seen in my business. Okay. Have there been conversions over social media? Absolutely. Okay. But I see a better conversion rate from marketing emails versus social media. I see social media as an important part of building connection, building trust. But when it comes to convert, emails work better because for a lot of different reasons. But 50% of people buy from marketing emails at least once per month. Okay. You've probably bought something from an email that looked good. I'm sure you did. 60% of survey respondents say that marketing emails have influenced their purchases. Now, of course, it's from Constant Contact. So, look at where your data is coming from. But this is from Marketing Sherpa, preferred method for promotional content. So where do people want to see promotional content? They don't really want it on their social media feed. They do not. If you try to put something with a sales message, it's going nowhere. Okay. It is. That's just how it is now. That is just how our lives are. But people still want to be able to know, oh, when's this sale? When's this discount? That information is valuable. So if you notice, people are going to prefer email over every other channel. Oops. Where'd I go? So that leads us to, once you've had your list, how to get people to open those emails, right? Because here's the thing. The cool thing about email is that the person that you're sending it to, now you have to set it up correctly. The person that you're sending it to has opted in to hear from you. Okay. And more than 98% of the time, those emails go into the inboxes. Okay. Now they have to be opened. So they get delivered and then they have to be opened. So how do we get more people to open the emails? Okay. So now let's look at open rates before we go any further. Here's the thing that you want to understand is that not everybody's going to open your emails. You're not going to get 100% email open rate. The average in our industry is 33%. I would like to see you around 50%. Okay. I keep sliding down in my chair. I have a new cushion coming because this one I keep sliding. Oops. So, but just so you know, if you are doing email and you're not seeing like super high open percentages, that's normal. Okay. This is the average totals for open rates. So we want to be above average. All right. So, but just keep that in mind. You don't have to be at 100% for this to be effective. Okay. So tip number 1, check your sender name. And this actually goes for not only marketing emails, but emails out of your Outlook or your Gmail. All right. Make sure that this is your actual name. Okay. That this is not something, it's not the name of your agency. It's not, anything after it. You just want your first and last name. That's it. You don't want your business name. You don't want agent for, whatever the agency is. Nope. You just want your first and last name. People are more likely to open it if it's just your first and last name. Then we're going to talk about these other things, the subject line and the pre-header text. But first, let's talk about sender name. Now, what you want to do, you need to send it from you. So you want to check, you're going to go, whatever you use, it could be Outlook, it could be Gmail, but you want to look at where your display name is. And you want your display name to be your name. And do not use your email address as the display name. Okay, so you wanted, as soon as when you get off of this, I want you to go check your email. Make sure it's sending from you, okay? And not your email or not your agency name, okay? You want to come across as you, okay? As a human, because you are a human. And here's a tip from Joanna from Copy Hackers. Be really conscious of your from name, as on mobile, it's got way more visual prominence than your subject line does. So that from name is really important. You want them to see that name and be like, oh, that's from Dana. I want to open that. Okay. Okay. And then here's another one from Marketing Profs. Your email will be opened or not based on your offer in direct response email or promise of value. In either case, the relationship and trust between the subscriber and the brand is what triggers open more than anything else. So you need to have your name as your subject line because you are your brand. No one else can be you. Okay. So making sure that is that. Now, then you're going to go to your subject line. Okay. Now, again, that is a lot of times we don't put much thought into a subject line, and there's lots of AI things now for subject lines and things like that, but just some ideas to keep in mind. Do not forget to put the subject line in. Okay. Because this is, sending an email without a subject line is very likely to be ignored. Okay. So I often recommend when you go into your, whatever you use to send your promotional emails, whether that's MailChimp or MailerLite or Kit or wherever, what's another popular one? It's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, whatever you use to send your promotional emails, because remember, we don't send promotional emails through Gmail or Outlook because then you'll get marked as spam. Okay. So first, make sure you have your subject line in there. You might want to change it later, but just have something in there just in case, because a lot of times what I do is I go too fast and I'll forget, or I'll forget to update the subject line. Because what I do when I do an email newsletter is I take the previous one and just duplicate it. So that way I don't have to redo the formatting at all. And I just put new text and new pictures in. But when you do that, you have to remember to update the subject line too, because that has happened to me where I sent a whole another email, but had the same subject line as the last one I sent. That doesn't work very well. Okay. So use sentence case subject lines. Okay. What this means is, and I have to always remember this too, because sometimes I forget. You want to use, you don't want to be every word capitalized in the email like it's the title of a project. Okay. You want it to just be in the use sentence case, meaning if you were writing a sentence or if you were typing a text to a friend, you would capitalize the first name, you would capitalize, proper nouns. But other than that, everything else is lowercase because it's more casual. It's easier for people to read and they're more likely to open it because it's easier to read. So many things are psychological in whether somebody opens something or not opens something. But if someone sees a subject line and it looks, they can read it, scan it quickly, they're more likely to open that email. Okay. And again, it's something I have to always remind myself of, because sometimes I'll still do it because that's just how we are. We think we have to make it all, so proper. But the thing is, think of it as if you were texting a friend. Okay. Would you be capitalizing every letter? No, because people see the emails pop up on their phones now. It's not a formal, it's not a formal message. Okay. Okay. Now you don't have a lot of space. Most people are checking their emails on their mobile devices. You have 25 to 30 characters. Okay. So 7 words. Okay. You have to be able to get your idea out in a few number of words. Okay. And they did all this research of, what's better. So 7, be clear and focused on one idea. All right. We're going to talk about the pre-header text next. But you want to use performing words and take a screenshot of this, to these types of words prompt people to open them up. Okay. Numerals stand out in a line of text. This is very important. If I started an email with numbers, they stand out, and it's very interesting how, yes, using numerals helps. Now, words not to use in an email subject line: raffle, rewards, coupon, discount, savings, offer. Okay. Avoid using these because they're likely to get sent to spam. Okay. Or the promotions tab. So think of a frequently asked question or your best social media post in the last month. What is the topic? What subject line could you create for an email about that topic? Okay, so think of that. What is the best thing that performed? All right. And the best thing that performed is probably my one about wiping down the tray tables on the airplane. And what I do on every flight. What I do on every flight, 6 words. Okay. So think about that. And here's the thing. Sometimes we overthink everything. Keep it simple. I often say to agents, take what did the best on social media the past couple of weeks and reuse that topic as an email newsletter. It does not, and then you can link even to whatever the social media content was. All right. You don't have to keep recreating the wheel and make things hard. All right. There's plenty of hard out there. This does not have to be one of them. And our final tip, the pre-header text. Now, you only have 7 words for your subject line, but you also get a pre-header text. And I want to show you this because this is a very important part of the inbox. So it's more important, I guess, on desktops than if people are looking on phones. But it's this little part that you get before the email, before you read the email. Like it'll help people understand more of what's in there. Okay. Now you have to type it in. Okay. Sometimes email service providers will automatically add things like phrases and things like that. So you want to delete that box and put your own text in because it looks weird when it comes up. Okay. Like I'll show you. They didn't have any on these, but 20 plus eateries, like it gives you more information. So notice it's a short subject line, but then you get more information here. So you can be a little more, I know we like to write, we like to say things. So that's what the pre-header text is for. And again, when you're doing your email in your email marketing platform, you want to find where you can put that in. And don't forget about that either, because that's just some more real estate you have. Okay. All right. So let's review your sender name. Make sure that you are putting in, it's your name, not your business name, not something fancy. Keep it simple. Then your subject line. All right. Using numerals. I mean, this is one of mine from emailing you guys. And then a pre-header text. Using numbers in the beginning of your post is a great way to hook followers' attention. And a lot of things that work for social media also work in email. So if there's a really good hook on your reel, use that in your use that in your email subject line. There's no rule saying you can't. Okay. And there's no rule saying you have to make everything 100% harder than it actually is. So, how many of you have email marketing on your list for 2026? It should be, because that is where people convert. And heaven forbid, if something happened to your social media account, would you have a way to contact the people that matter on there? So what I do every January is an email writing challenge. Okay. And if you are a member of my sales lab, if you're a member agency in my agency program, or if you bought the business plan, you already are getting this, and I've emailed you, so you should have everything. You should be ready for next week. It's happening next week, next Monday, and it's supposed to snow, so you're not going to do anything else. Come work on some emails, and it is taught live, but you get all the recordings. You keep the recordings for a year, but I teach you how to write a newsletter, how to write a promotional email. We go more in depth with subject lines. I coach you through writing subject lines. Okay. It's $49. And if you can't make the classes live, that's okay. You get the replays and you have access to it for over a year. So you would go to this website, and I'll just put it in the comments here. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about writing a newsletter style email, and then writing a promotional email, how to write subject lines for each kind of email. And, I show you my own examples from what I send. This doesn't have to be hard. You come do it with me. I'll show you how it can be easy. And then you'll have topics for the next couple of months, and they'll be ready to go. So come join me next week. Registration closes Sunday. All right. But just sign up now. It's $49, but it will get you over the hump of saying, I don't know what to put in a newsletter. I don't know what to put in an email. Come write with me, and we'll get you sorted for the new year. All right. So that's that. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay warm. If you are in the path of the snowstorm that's going to get half the country, stay safe. And while you're it'll be snowing outside, but we can be writing emails on the inside and staying warm. Okay. Have a good one. I will see you in the challenge next week. Bye-bye.